Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Geek Lunch Meat. I'm your host, Chris. As usual, bringing you all the latest news and reviews from the world of geeks and popular culture and all that. Unfortunately, this week we start with some sad news of the passing of the legend that was Meat Loaf. Of course, known predominantly for his music, the Battle of Hell album, a big part of my childhood, still one of the biggest selling albums of all time here in the UK and I think around the world. Obviously, he did some great film roles as well, and I would say if you want to celebrate his life today and remember him, obviously the absolute camp brilliance of Rocky Horror Picture Show. You can't go wrong with his portrayal of Eddie in this absolutely brilliant pastiche of 50s science fiction and just general insanity and great songs, great performances from everyone involved. Obviously, there's a reason it's become a cult hit and loved the world over. Or if you're feeling something a bit more nihilistic, his turn as Robert Pattinson in Fight Club. In my humble opinion, one of the greatest films ever made. Absolutely adore Fight Club. I think probably Fincher's finest work. Taking Chuck Palahniuk's book, a great book, and making it even better. One of those rare occurrences where that happens. And yeah, Meat Loaf, absolutely fantastic in this as well. So celebrate the life of Meat Loaf by listening to some of his music, watch one of his movies, and remember what an absolute legend he was and will be sorely missed. On with this week's main news. News on The Batman, Robert Pattinson's movie coming to us 4th of March. Obviously, he's the Batman. We've got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Very much a sort of I don't know, it's like a do-over of Batman Returns, featuring those same characters, obviously done in a completely different style. Word is, basically the running time is 3 hours long almost. March the 4th that comes out, and we'll see does it justify that long running time. I thought it was going to be, they said, a sort of more intimate sort of portrayal of the Batman, but obviously that's quite an epic running time, so hopefully they've got enough going on to fill that out. So as I say, March the 4th, that will be hitting cinemas everywhere. We had the trailer and the poster this week for Moon Knight, the latest MCU series coming to Disney Plus. I haven't read the comics, but from the synopsis, it seems Oscar Isaac is a chap who has multiple personalities. One of them looks like, from the trailer, a mild-mannered shop worker working at, it looks like, the British Museum. And at least one other personality where he's some sort of hardcore mercenary. And then there are some mystical goings on with ancient Egypt. There's been a lot of talk about Oscar Isaac's English accent. You only get bits of it coming through in the trailer. It's certainly not on the Don Cheadle Ocean's 11 scale of abominations. But and I think he's obviously in the trailer. He's this sort of lesser confident, downtrodden shop worker who chains himself to his bed in worrying about what he gets up to when he's asleep and has memory blackouts and things like that. So the performance in the trailer seems to fit. It'd be interesting to see as he obviously becomes his other personalities and what happens there. I love Oscar Isaac any rate. I think his Poe Dameron was the best part of the sort of Star Wars sequels. I would love to see them carry on with him. I'd love to do everything he's been in. So yeah, Moon Knight, March the 30th, carrying on the MCU story. I should also say at this point, if you like what you see here, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Helps the channel out no end and will be doing us a great favour. Thank you very much. We also got a trailer for Severance. This is a new series that's going to Apple TV, I believe. Some of the episodes are directed by Ben Stiller. It stars Adam Scott, Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken, amongst others. Got a great cast. Looks like it's about Adam Scott's character joins a company where they've got this severance procedure they've perfected where they can separate your work memories from your sort of social memories. So what you do at work, you then, when you leave the building, you've got no knowledge of anything that went on there, presumably for doing in clandestine work, and they don't want any secrets leaking out, sort of the ultimate non-disclosure agreement sort of thing. Now, obviously, things go awry, and there's obviously a thriller and a mystery involved as to what's going on with people's two separate lives when they can't remember what they've been doing during the day. It looks fantastic. It looks like a more accessible version of Devs, which the series starring Nick Offerman, which I believe is on Disney Plus now, which was a great show, but very, very cerebral. And this looks like a more sort of, say, accessible idea of that. Yeah, I'd not heard of it, to be honest, up until the trailer dropped. And it's gone straight to the top of my list. I thought you'd say it's Apple TV, which I haven't got. I know there is some other stuff coming to Apple TV later in the year that almost also looks interesting. I may have to just wait till these whole things drop and then see. I'm assuming you can get like a month's pass for it or something like that. Hopefully it's not a year subscription. But yeah, Severance looks excellent. We also got the trailer for Our Flag Means Death, the new comedy about pirates. Based on true story, apparently. Back in the 1700s, some sort of wealthy gentleman decided to abandon his wife and kids and his life of luxury to become a pirate. And Rhys Darby plays the guy that does this. You've also got the awesome Taika Waititi, who I've expressed my love for many times on this channel, as apparently like an insane version of Blackbeard the pirate. Guz Khan's in the trailer. Thought I saw Jermaine Clement in the background, possibly. It wouldn't surprise me with those type of the people that he usually works with. There's some funny bits in the trailer. It's not sort of laugh out loud stuff. I didn't think too much of, but hopefully, say some of my favourite people in it, from Flight of the Conchords and say I love Taika Waititi. So I'll give that a go. That's coming out later this year. Not sure when. I believe it's coming to HBO Max in the States, so that's probably on Sky or over here, I imagine. We'll be looking forward to that. Lord of the Rings fans, if you were worried that your Lord of the Rings series on Amazon was not going to have enough rings in it, then rest assured with the announcement of the title that it will be called Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Not the greatest title, I suppose, but I suppose it does what it says on the tin. It's prequels to the movie series, presumably about showing the backstory and the forging of the rings. I must admit, I am a big Lord of the Rings fan. I haven't read all of the books set before. I don't know how far back this series goes, but it's coming 2nd of September, and I know they've spent an absolute buttload of cash on it. So it'll be interesting to see what we get from that. Obviously, the Hobbit films were sort of bloated, overlong, could have been done with paring down a lot. Have they learned a lesson from that? We will find out. We also got a trailer dropped for Fistful of Vengeance, probably the most generic action movie title ever. That sounds like an 80s straight-to-video flick. Starring, and apologies as normal for my pronunciation, Iko Uwais from the Raid movies, amongst other things. Absolutely fantastic. Love his action stuff. And I believe it's a continuation of Wu Assassins, the Netflix series where he played a chef who got mixed up with triads and then mystical powers. The series was okay. It had some nice fight scenes in it. It could have been a bit more brutal in places, but I think obviously it was getting a more general audience. And I think he's playing the same character in this. I'm assuming it's a continuation of the story or like a side story. They obviously didn't want to do another series, presumably. So they've done this movie. That's hitting February the 17th on Netflix. As some of the action scenes look quite good. Iko Uwais, always great action in the films that he's involved in. I would recommend The Night Comes for Us on Netflix if you've not seen it. Absolutely brutal. Some ludicrous fights going on in that. And obviously, Raid 1 and Raid 2. Some of the best action sequences I've ever seen. But Fistful of Vengeance, February 17th on Netflix. There was also news that the Monsterverse is continuing. The Monsterverse being the Legendaries Godzilla series, King Kong, and that sort of thing. It's coming, they're doing a TV show. Again, that's coming to Apple TV. So that'd be another one I might have to invested a month subscription. Yeah, they're going to be continuing that. I didn't go much on the last Godzilla versus Kong, which was a shame. Kong Skull Island, I absolutely love. Still think it's probably the best one they've done. How it will pare down to a TV show. It says it's going to be featuring Godzilla and the other Titans. That was one of the worst parts of, I thought, Godzilla versus Kong, that they just sort of a throwaway line to say that all of the Titans, the other monsters that had been introduced in the last Godzilla movie, Godzilla had killed them all off screen or something, I think they come up with. So there was just him and Kong left, which seemed to be a cop out. But yeah, so that is, they say, Monsterverse TV show coming to Apple TV. Only just announced it, so I don't know when. I doubt it will be this year. Probably turn up next year, I suspect. And then one last bit of news: Mission Impossible 7 delayed again. It was coming out September this year. Now been put back to July the 23rd. That also means that Mission Impossible 8 has also been put back as well. Hopefully, we'll start to see the end of these delays now that COVID, fingers crossed, is sort of coming to an end as a pandemic and becoming more endemic, and we start to learn to live with it. So yeah, the Cruiser has been delayed again. He's not having much luck, but with Top Gun Maverick as well, still on track apparently for this summer. Yeah, that's the news this week. What have I watched? Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett. After last week's sort of lackluster episode and looking on the internet at the sort of mods with their shiny, multicolored Power Rangers Vespers, didn't go down well with a lot of people. This week's episode much better, even though again most of the episode was a flashback. But it was a really good flashback showing how Boba meets up with Fennec Shand, which we'd sort of got a hint of in The Mandalorian, and how he and him getting Slave One back from Jabba's palace. Yeah, much better episode. So say mostly a flashback, so only sort of propelled the story forward slightly, but did give some hints with, especially with a shot at the end, with some let's say someone's theme tune played over it, indicate who we may be seeing in the up and coming final 3 episodes, I think it is, that we've got coming up. But yeah, much better episode. Still not on par with The Mandalorian, although I'm saying that some of the early Mandalorian episodes weren't absolutely fantastic, and it took a while to hit its stride and become the sort of great show that we ended up loving. So yeah, jury's still out on Book of Boba Fett. It's very Star Warsy. It looks good. Some of the effects are a bit ropey. I'd still say, like I said last week, I don't think they've spent as much money on it as they did The Mandalorian. I think it's been done slightly cheaper. But yeah, it's enjoyable, and it's Star Wars, and it's coming to us on a weekly basis. So not bad, not fantastic. What else have I watched? I've halfway through Hellbound on Netflix, which I've mentioned before. Finally got around to watching it. The 6-part Korean series. Basically, angels appear, give you a prophecy saying when you're going to die, and then on that point in time, they come back and beat the absolute crap out of you. Before then dragging you to hell. Very brutal, I guess some very dark places. I suppose revealing humanity's nature, what would happen if this sort of thing actually happened in real life, and how people would react to it, and humanity being humanity, reacting by kicking off and rioting and generally going on violent sprees, which unfortunately you could probably see happening in real life. Yes, I'm enjoying it so far. It's very you want to watch the next episode. It definitely makes you want to sort of binge the whole thing. Say I've only got a couple of episodes left. Interested to see where it goes. Some of the CGI is a bit ropey. The angels aren't fantastic effects. But yeah, enjoying that. That's probably about what I've had a chance to watch this week. So I will just say, take care, and until next time, eat, geek, and be merry.